right, time now for another episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds with the title All Those Who Wander. Huh. Was that a dig at Nerdrotic? Oh. Nah, it's an old saying, you know. But anyway, that's the title. Yeah. Maybe it should be All Those Who Plagiarize. Well, this is an episode. All of Secret Hideout Trek people keep coming in and saying, well, they stole it from this, they stole it from that. And a lot of it I caught immediately. Other things, it was like video games I'd never played and stuff like that, that they had copied, apparently top to bottom, for the plots of STD and what have you. But they tended to copy things, everything but Star Trek. They finally started copying some things for this iteration with Strange New Worlds, and which I think has lured some people into thinking, oh, this is the improvement we were looking for. There's some improvement here and there, but it's few and far between, and ends up just being another insult. This time around, we're seeing the absolute desecration of Captain Pike, which is not Anson Mount's fault. He didn't write this. It's torturous because he's right there, and we got an inkling of that actually in STD. His appearance there was probably better than in his own show, which, let's face it, this is really supposed to be about his era and everything. Not that he should be the only main character and all that type of thing. I don't think a Star Trek show should be like that. But he never gets to actually be captain. He gets to be a chef, and he is in this episode too. Although he puts Spock to work washing dishes. Tee-hee. Tee-hee. So, gee, what did they rip off this time? Well, flat out, top to bottom, they ripped off Alien and Aliens, which, of course, are titans in the mythos of science fiction and popular, culture and whatnot. Not so much the other sequels to that franchise. There's really only two great movies from it, but for whatever reason, they just kept stumbling with it. But that's another story. Here, they just stole it completely for an episode. That, granted, an idea of being trapped and chased by a monster, it's something they could do, and that would fit in with a Star Trek narrative and would be fine. And you would say, they're kind of hinting at aliens, which you say, yeah, sure, but you do your own thing with it. Yeah, here. So they reintroduced the Gorn in this series, which obviously, once again, forget about canon. It is not here, which is a hard thing to do for a Trek audience, because they've stumbled over the years of the different Trek shows and films and stuff like that. There's plenty of mistakes here and there, but they tried. And they were doing Herculean efforts compared to what this lazy crap show of Secret Hideout has delivered. With I believe Kurtzman even saying, it's just too hard to do. And Major Grin does the videos that just shows brief little mentions from an old show is revisited in later shows and stuff. It just... yeah, it's pointless to even expect it anymore. And so, of course, the Gorn and their appearance and that whole story doesn't fit. So you just have to approach this as this is an alternate timeline. But even if you accept that, there's still all kinds of problems. And they don't take advantage of the cast they have. Anson Mount, obviously. But even the rest of them, pretty much that last episode, as stupid as it was, they actually could see the range that these actors have, and it's sad that they're being ruined by this show. But anyway, this one rips off Alien. So the Gorn, that's the alien. Apparently, just like the alien, they lay their eggs in people and they burst from your chest. Oh, God. And taking from the sequel to Alien Aliens, we have a little girl who survived. Oh, and now Lady Khan is the Ripley of this story because she survived the Gorn when she was a kid. So they've already established that in the previous episode. So here she is. She's the badass Ripley character who has to take them on. Now, they kind of drop it at that point. There's no big final battle with her or anything like that. But the girl is there. It's the same type of deal. She identifies with the girl. They just forgot to do any kind of bonding of them teaming up and, being chased by the monster and stuff. But it's there. It's just it's so badly ripped off with the Gorn burst out of your chest and everything. But she understands them and tells them how you're supposed to fight them, and you have to lure them out. And of course, and kind of like Alien 3, even you can throw that one in, which is not very good, but still, how they have to figure out how to trap the Gorn, and you have to understand them and challenge them, because the Gorn babies kill each other, so only the alpha survives. How does that species survive at all? But anyway, that's the deal. And sadly, Himmer, because his makeup cost too much, got killed off. He had to sacrifice himself because he had the egg implanted in him, which apparently, if a Gorn spits on you, you will sprout Gorn babies from your chest. So they said, no, Himmer, we can save you. There's not time. So he just wanted to die, and who can blame him? At least he has the advantage of being hidden from underneath all that makeup. He still might have a career. So he drops off a cliff and dies. So that's the end of Himmer. He didn't really get to do much because, again, that makeup is really expensive. So you got to go, buddy. That's that. Some new people they introduced all got wiped out. They weren't in red shirts, but they had all just been promoted, and so had Uhura. But Uhura is the only one of that group who survived because, she's Uhura. Even though it's an alternate timeline, so who's to say, But anyway, and this is a chance for Pike. Yeah, he's there to take command and charge, and not really. So, yeah, that's about it. The interesting thing about it is, like in the old Star Trek show I talked about, I always got a thrill when they involved another Federation ship, and I just thought that was cool at the time, and that's how they were establishing, there's this whole fleet and stuff like that. So that's what they do. They find a downed Federation ship. It's sitting there on the ground, and, oh my God, what happened? And they go in to investigate, and there's, the murder scenes everywhere, blood everywhere, and all this, and oh my God. And this other ship had conducted this rescue mission, and turns out the people they rescued had Gorn eggs in them, and so, well, now you know the story. And all that was left was some weird alien guy and a little girl, and then she does absolutely nothing to warn them about what's about to happen. Of course, she already sees the signs. He's got the eggs in him, and they burst out of his chest and everything and start killing people. And the little girl just runs and hides, doesn't tell anybody. Well, she's a little girl, she's traumatized and everything, but damn it, couldn't you have said something? So then there's a scene where Spock, in order to fight the Gorn, has to release his inner rage. So he runs down the hall, and fights the Gorn. But later he can't control his rage, and he takes it out on George Kirk, who George Kirk is the Bill Paxton of the show. Why don't you put Spock in George? And also he's kind of standing in for Dr. McCoy, I guess, arguing with Spock, and that how can you be so cold, as if he's never met a Vulcan before. Yeah, and they don't really have this relationship. Yeah, granted, you could say the same thing about McCoy, but it was within the context of the event and stuff. And you could argue that here because the crewman that no one knew had just died and stuff like that. But that doesn't matter. I mean, the real crime here is how much they copied Alien way too much. The idea of them being trapped and chased by a monster would have been fine. Would have been fine. You get a pretty good episode out of that. And if only this wasn't so blatantly, obviously stolen from Alien, they might have thought this was one of their better ones, you know? But it wasn't. So, you know, it's just all very sad, which is the sorry state of the show. You know, when they beamed down and the starship was laying on the ground, you know, it would have been a cooler episode that this could have been an episode where they established that this is an alternate timeline and that was a real Starfleet ship from the original universe. You know, and they're like, oh my God, what happened here? You know, and we're in a different timeline and stuff. And then it becomes to dawn on Captain Pike that him getting stuck in that chair is not actually his future, that he saw the future of the original Pike. And he's like, oh my God, it's wide open. I've got a whole untapped future out there I don't even know about. Stuff like that, you know. And you still could have had some monster on there, whatever. But, you know, wouldn't that have been interesting? You know, they just went ahead and admitted like that. And then that would be an out for Anson Mount, for Pike to say, I got to go figure out what I want to do with myself now that I know I have a future ahead of me. And then they bring in their Kirk and stuff, which I'd rather they didn't do, but what the hell, you know, at this point. They've already shot the second season, so, you know. And that, because I don't know if Pike is coming back from this, if Anson Mount was just, like he owes them this season and that's it, he wants out. Maybe he'll be there, I don't know, and they'll pass it off to Kirk at some point. Whatever. But, yeah, that would have been cool, but they didn't do that. And that would have been an idea of their own, you know. Why do that when they can rip off Alien? So there's just no way getting around that. They had another scene where they're pushing, you know, Spock and Chapel together, which again only works in an alternate timeline. So, see, you can argue even in an alternate timeline, it's copies of them, but they're more or less the same people, so the attraction would still be there. Although, you know, you look back at those old shows, Spock kind of felt sorry for Chapel, but he never really reciprocated the feelings. He had feelings for other women. Boy, he got it on with, especially Mariette Hartley. Boy, how about that one, huh? And who can blame him? Oh boy, in her you know, Jane from Tarzan outfit. But he just, I don't know, he didn't, Chapel didn't do it for him. It's kind of sad, you know, because, boy, she was totally in love with him, you know. But, yeah, it didn't happen. So I don't know if that's how they're going to play it out, because he's still hung up on T'Pring, even though this T'Pring is actually interested in him, whereas in the original, she really wasn't, you know. Of course, they got the Vulcans completely wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be like that anyway, you know, But this Chapel is clearly already deeply infatuated with Spock, you know, where she's right there at his lips, you know, and, well, he doesn't see it. Anyway, you still probably would have gotten some, they're copying Alien, but there's a way to do that. Just, you know, you're trapped in a monster's eating you, trying to eat you, whatever. They could have done that. It would have been fine. But you had to copy it completely. It's just lazy. Oh, well. Too bad about Hammer, huh? But then again, I'm guessing that makeup costs too much money. You hardly ever saw him, you know? I don't know who deals with the engines now. Oh, well.